Thank you all for joining us. The American people are anxious. They're concerned about a tidal wave of borrowing and spending and bailouts and takeovers and deficits and debt. And last night, I believe millions of Americans were leaning into their television sets, hoping that something would change in the change that came to Washington, D.C. We have been told by various spokesmen for the administration that there would be a pivot by the president at the podium. But House Republicans have to ask what millions of Americans were asking last night. Where's the pivot? The President of the United States came to the well of Congress, and after apparently offering a nod to focusing on jobs, he renewed his embrace of the failed economic policies of this Congress and this administration to date, calling for one more so-called stimulus bill built on the same failed policies of the last stimulus bill. Then the President nodded in the direction of fiscal discipline. And let me say, House Republicans welcome the President's call to put our fiscal house in order. But putting off to tomorrow with a spending freeze that begins in 2011 does not represent the urgency and the concern and the priority the American people want to place on fiscal discipline and getting runaway federal spending under control. And then after this nod to focusing on jobs with the failed economic policies and a nod toward fiscal discipline someday, then we remarkably heard the President embrace the same old, as we say back in Indiana. The President endorsed the government takeover of health care, as is. He endorsed a national energy tax that'll crush jobs in this country, all in the name of climate change. The President even argued in favor of the failed economic stimulus plan of last year, touting its so-called success, a success that has taken this country from 7.5% unemployment to a heartbreaking 10% unemployment. It was rhetoric about a pivot, but no pivot at all. House Republicans do, however, welcome the President's call for greater engagement and greater dialogue and greater bipartisanship. We were pleased to invite the President of the United States to our House conference retreat, and we were grateful that he accepted. And tomorrow, it will be an opportunity, yes, for us to hear from the President, a few remarks about his priorities, but this is not an opportunity for one more presidential speech. Tomorrow in Baltimore, the President has agreed to have a conversation with House Republicans about the future of this country. And House Republicans will seize the opportunity in respectful terms, but candid and frank terms, to make it clear to the President that we have better solutions, that we offered alternatives to get this economy moving again. We offered a budget that would make the hard choices to put our fiscal house in order. We have an all-of-the-above energy strategy that will steer us toward energy independence and prosperity. And we have health care solutions, as Republican leader Boehner just said, that will achieve the very goals the President described without expanding the size and scope of government in the lives of everyday Americans. We look forward to this conversation. It will be, as the leader said, an honest conversation, and we hope that it may well facilitate the President getting the message from the American people and delivering on the promised pivot away from this big government agenda.